Jenny and Ben were about to get married. They wanted to book a hotel for their wedding ceremony in the party. So they went to a wedding planner to look at some options. She told them only 3 hotels were available for the day they wanted and showed them the pictures. Which one should they choose? Take a closer look at the 3rd floor windows of the first hotel. In the last window on the right, there's a creepy shadow of a monster that appears and disappears. 5 stars or not, no one would like to get married in a haunted place unless they're an Addams Family member. In the 3rd hotel, only has 2 stars. It probably doesn't have the facilities to host a wedding, so the best choice is the 2nd hotel. Great choice, the wedding planner said, and you're in luck because they actually have a great discount offer. If you can answer this riddle correctly, you won't have to pay for the ballroom rental. Here it is. Those who have it, do not say it. Those who take it, do not know it. Those who know it, do not want it. What is it? Do you know the answer? It's fake money. The next day, Ben and Jenny went to the hotel to pick the best ballroom for their party. The hotel manager took them to 3 different rooms where they could host everything, from the ceremony itself to the dinner and after party. Which one should they pick? Do you see a little mouse hole in the corner of the first ballroom? The couple wouldn't want such uninvited guests at their party. As for the 2nd ballroom, the chandelier looks like it might fall down any minute. Not the safest option, so they should pick the 3rd ballroom. It was time for Ben and Jenny to pick the wedding menu. Since they were not paying for the venue, they wanted to spare no expense in serving food that the guests would never forget. That's why they called 3 different Michelin star chefs. Each of them prepared a different dish and presented them for a tasting. Which chef, and therefore which dish, should they go for? Even though the dish the 2nd chef made looks perfectly fine, do you see a rat's tail hanging from his chef's hat? There must be some ratatouille situation going on there. So that's a pass. The 3rd dish looks like spaghetti, right? Well, look again. Those are actually very thin snakes. Exotic flavors might not be the best option, so they better go with the classical burger that the first chef made. Before they made their wedding vows, Jenny had to say yes to a dress. So, she went to a couture store to check their wedding gown collection. She explained to the designer the style of the dress she wanted for her ceremony. The designer said he had just the perfect gown for her and would bring it to her if she answered his riddle correctly. He asked, if a gown takes an hour to dry, how many hours will it take 6 dresses to dry? It'll still take 1 hour because they'll all dry at the same time. Ben had one last item to buy on his wedding shopping list, and it was what fastens 2 people yet touches only 1. Can you figure out what it is? It's a wedding ring, of course. Ben headed to a jewelry store to get something blue for his bride. The store owner showed him 3 different wedding rings with blue gemstones. Which one should he buy? The 2nd ring has an engraving inside, so it must have belonged to someone else before. The gemstone on the 3rd ring has a tiny crack in it. That can only mean it's made of glass or even plastic. So, Ben should buy the 1st ring with a sapphire. Next, Ben and Jenny were going to send out invitations. One print shop offered them 3 different versions of invitations. Which one should they choose? Do you remember the name of the hotel they booked? It was Sunrise Lodge, but the first invitation says Sunset Lodge. So this one won't do. And on the third invitation, their names are printed as Benny and Jen. That's not our couple, so they should choose the second invitation. Before the wedding, 3 of their friends paid them a visit. One of them brought a painting as a wedding gift, but all 3 claimed that they were the artist who had created it. 2 of them must be lying. Can you figure out who the actual artist is? Take a look at the signature on the painting. It says Denise. Now look at the third friend's necklace. It has the letter D, so she must be Denise, the artist who painted the painting. It was finally the day of the wedding, and Ben and Jenny's guests started to arrive. However, the hotel security spotted 3 suspicious-looking people who could be uninvited. Take a look at these 3 guys. Can you tell which one is not supposed to be at the wedding? Do you see the hotel wristbands that say Ben and Jenny that the second and the third guys are wearing? That can only mean they are actually invited. So it's the first guy who's crushing the wedding. Sorry, dude, no free drinks for you. After the vows were exchanged, it was time to party. As Ben and Jenny were dancing, someone spilled their drink on Jenny's dress, but no one saw who it was. Jenny spotted 3 people who could have done it. Take a look at them. Can you tell who ruined her dress? The first guy has spots on his shirt that resemble stains from the spilled drink, but they are actually part of the pattern, so it can't be him. The third lady looks clean, but the hem of the second lady's skirt looks dirty, so it must be her who did it. After the ceremony ended, Ben and Jenny wanted to take a photo to capture the moment forever. But take a look at it. There's something strange about it. Can you spot what it is? Can you see a woman hiding behind the trees watching them? She is wearing a witch hat, but it's a wedding ceremony and not a costume party. Creepy. Right before leaving, Jenny suddenly vanished. Then the witch suddenly appeared in front of Ben and said, "You may only kiss the bride if you figure out with whom you really tied the knot. Ha ha!" Then 2 Jennys appeared in front of Ben. Can you tell which one is his real wife? Remember the wedding photo? The Jenny on the left is the real one because her tattoo is on the same side as in the photo. Now that Ben and Jenny's wedding was over, phew, it was time for them to pick a honeymoon destination. They went to a travel agency to book a tour. The travel agent offered them 3 different holiday destinations: Ibiza, Cannes, and the Caribbeans. Which one should they go to? Have you noticed the weather forecast on TV in the office? It states that the weather in Ibiza is going to be windy in the upcoming days, and in Cannes, it's going to be rainy. So they should pick the Caribbeans and enjoy the sun. The travel agent said she could upgrade their plane tickets to business class for free. It would be her wedding gift to them. But they had to crack this riddle. What can travel around the world while staying in a corner? It's a stamp.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.
Are you ready for a tricky logo test? I've got one for you to test your observation skills. Don't forget to keep your score and share your results in the comments below. Okay, at first, I'll be showing you 2 logos. One is correct and the other is fake. You'll have to tell me which one is the right one, okay? Let's go then. What about this logo of Samsung? Yes, of course, it's this one. Next up, Dota 2. Even if you aren't a gamer, you probably know it well enough to recognize the right logo. Yes, that's the one on the right. What about L'Oreal? Correct, it's this one. Boston Red Sox. What's the correct logo? Yes, it's the one on the right. I bet you've seen it lots of times. It'll help you find the Windows logo. Here it is. Did you get it right? Chromium, a web browser. What do you say? Yes, it's this one. Concentrate, it's getting harder. Can you remember the real logo of the New York Giants, a football team? It's the one on the left. Embark, an Italian racing car brand. Which logo is it? This one, of course. Valentino, a luxury brand. Can you spot the correct logo? Right here, this one. Great job, let's move on. Tissot, a watch brand. Where is the original? It's the one on the right. Think hard and find Statler. That's the one. This social networking service used to be extremely popular. I'm talking about MySpace. Can you find its logo now? It's this one. Can you recognize the correct logo of San Francisco's Golden State Warriors? Yes, of course, it's this one. Next up, Issue. What's the correct logo? Yes, that's the one. This one might be a bit hard, but I believe in you. Where is the correct World Health Organization logo? It's this one. Did you get it right? Now let's change the task a bit. I'll be showing you logos and you'll need to recognize them. Here's the first one. Do you remember what brand it is? Correct, it's Huawei. Any ideas here? It's Tiffany & Co. I'm sure you know this one, so what is it? That's New Balance. Easy peasy. What is this? That's Uber. Another simple one. What do you say? Google Earth. Okay, do you know what this G stands for? It's The Guardian, a famous British newspaper. What about this one? It's Maserati, a car brand. Great job! What are your thoughts? Another car brand, a German one this time. It's Maybach. This can be tough, but I believe in you. Any ideas? That's Sumitomo, a tire manufacturer. This one is very famous. It's Tom Ford. Any ideas? Yep, it's Grammarly. That's something you probably know. UNESCO, the United Nations agency that promotes peace and security. So, do you recognize it? It's Smug Mug. What is this brand? That's Longines, a luxury watchmaker. Something a bit harder for you. What do you think? It's Herbal Essences, a hair care brand. Just a blue circle? Can you figure out what it is? That's USA Today. Does it ring a bell? It's Amnesty International. Do you recognize this brand? It's Royal Canin, a pet food brand. Another simple one. What's your call? Blackberry. What about this one? It's Yamaha. Did you figure it out? This app used to be an absolute hit for a while. What is this? It's Clubhouse. What about this logo? Do you know what they sell? Watches. It's Breguet. This one is trickier. What is it? It's Digital Trends, a tech news website. This might not be obvious for everyone, but give it a try. What do you say? It's Chicago Bears, an American football team. Do you know this logo? It's Tidal, a music, podcast, and streaming service. What about this one? Does it look familiar? That's Badoo, a dating app. Another logo you likely know well. What is this? That's Safeway. Any thoughts on this one? This is Jimmy Dean. This might look hard, but it's a well-known brand. Burt's Bees. Can you drag it out of your memory? Lindt, a chocolate producer. What about this horse? That's Denver Broncos, a football club. It sure looks cool, but what is this? That's Linkin Park. How about this one? Yeah, that's Legendary Entertainment, a movie production company. Any ideas? Flashbacks? That's Ladybird Books, a book publisher. Not everyone knows it, but it's kinda famous. It's the logo of the World Digital Library. Can you recognize it? That's Tyson Foods. Okay, how about this rabbit? Where does it come from? It's PETA, an animal rights organization. Can you recognize this logo? It's New York Mets, a baseball team from New York. This logo is very famous, but will you recognize it? That's Cargill, a global food corporation. Let's see if you know this one. That's FEE, or the Foundation for Environmental Education. And now, another type of task again. This one is the hardest. I'll be showing you little pieces of logos, and you'll need to recognize them. Do you think you'll manage? Let's check. Here's the first one for you. Any guesses? It's Nestle. Okay, just a little piece, but it's not as hard as it seems. Just mirror it and you'll get Motorola's logo. Do you recognize this face? What are your thoughts? This is the logo of the Boston Celtics, a basketball team. A trickier one for you. It's Mental Floss, an online magazine. This one is easy to recognize. So what do you say? Of course, it's Alfa Romeo, a car brand. What about this one? Can you tell? That's Macy's. Does it ring a bell? Think about it. Bastille, a pop rock band. It's a very famous company. That's Hasbro. What about this piece? That's Los Angeles Angels, a baseball club. Just several letters for you to recognize the whole logo. Do you think you can do it? That's Greenpeace. What about this one? Can you guess it? That's The Doors, a music band. You're likely to recognize this one easily. Let's see. That's Vans. Look, this one's so cool. What do you think it is? That's Fortnite, a computer game. This is one of the hardest puzzles in this test. Here's your piece. What do you say? It's Partners in Health, an organization that works to strengthen health systems. What's your call? That's Urban Dictionary. So, how did you fare? Let me know how many points you've got.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.
Kennedy was the most popular girl at school, and everyone wanted to go out with her. One day, during a class, Aaron, a guy who had been having a crush on her for years, received a text from the girl. But the text was all messed up, and he couldn't read it. He sent a question mark, but Kennedy only replied with a, "Figure it out." Can you help Aaron read the text? Seems like Kennedy just messed up the spaces to make the message harder to read. If we place the spaces correctly, the text will turn into, "Take me out on a date this week. Friday night after the basketball game, meet me by the clock." Kira and Sierra were sisters. They always borrowed each other's things without permission. So one day, Sierra walked into her room and didn't find her favorite bracelet, which she knew Kira also loved. She got mad at her sister for going into her room and looking through her stuff, but Kira denied all accusations. Still, Sierra knew that her sister had been in her room. How did she know it? Pay attention to this flower on Sierra's windowsill. Flowers always turn toward the sun, but this one is turned away from it. This means Kira was in Sierra's room, searching for the bracelet and moving things around. She moved the flower too. That's why it's turned away from the window. Okay, now I'll show you some emojis, and your task is to guess the animal. Here's the first one. S in nails. It's a snail, of course. What about this one? Do you have any ideas? B and ear. Sounds almost like a bear to me. Great job! Okay, here's another animal for you. Do you think you know what it is? Moon and key. Not sure about you, but I think it's a monkey. We're moving on, and here's the next animal for you. What's your call? Tie and gear. That's a tiger. Did you get it? This one is way too easy. Just hit it. Gold and fish. Goldfish, obviously. A fire alarm went off in a college and disrupted the end of semester exam. There was no fire, and after some investigation, it became clear that someone had set off the alarm on purpose. The police had 3 suspects. All of them had been spotted by a security camera on the underground floor near the fire alarm, shortly before it went off. Kara said she was a new student and had been looking for a bathroom. Carter said he'd been on the way to a lab that was on the underground floor. Olivia said she'd been exploring the building while waiting for her friend to be done with the exam. Who is guilty? Karis. She said she was a new student, but it was the end of the semester. Claudius was one of the Roman emperors. He was born in 10 BCE and became the emperor of the Roman Empire in 41 CE. How old did he turn the year he became the emperor? If you said 51, you might need to think a bit more. There's no year zero. After 1 BCE, when Claudius turned 9 years old, there was 1 CE. When he turned 10 years old, so in 41 CE, he turned 50. Someone in a little town kept stealing garden statues. Every time someone's statue was gone, they would get a text message from an anonymous number with 2 emojis. The police had been investigating the case, and finally, the geolocation led them to 3 suspects: Mr. Davidson, Mrs. Jensen, and Mr. Bowman. Can you tell who the thief is? The emojis are a clue. They don't seem to make any sense, but they actually do. It's a bow and a man, which together make Bowman. And Mr. Bowman is one of the suspects. He must be the criminal. Since we've started talking about emojis again, here's another task for you. I'll show you some emojis, and this time you'll need to guess the country. Let's go. Here's the first one. What's your call? That's Chile, of course. What about this one? Do you have any ideas? It's pretty straightforward. This is ice, and this is land. So, Iceland. Another emoji riddle for you. What is it? Another something land. That's a tie. So Thailand, a country in Asia. This one is a bit harder, but I believe in you. That's a bell, obviously, and that's a gym. It's Belgium, a country in Western Europe. Okay, the last country for you today. Here you go. What is it? Chain and an A. That's China. Now let's catch some criminals. Skylar was having a costume birthday party in a rented club. In the middle of the celebration, a detective came in. He said he was looking for a robber who must be there, pretending to be a guest. The problem was that Skylar didn't know half of the guests since all the school was invited. Take a look at the people and say who the detective's main suspect is. Look at this guy. Unlike all other guests, his costume is extremely inconsistent. He has a Batman mask and a Squid Game pullover. He probably put on whatever he could find in a rush, trying to hide. Mrs. Herrera was a rich lady who lived in her mansion in the countryside. She called the police because someone had stolen all the money from a safe in her room. She made all the people in the house remain inside until the police arrived. A detective came. He found no fingerprints, but he discovered a black glove. The main suspects were Chris, the cleaning man, Cassian, Mrs. Herrera's grandniece, and Nicole, Mrs. Herrera's best friend's daughter, who was visiting her for a week. Take a close look at them and try to figure out who stole the money. The glove can't belong to Chris. There were no fingerprints, so whoever the thief was, they were wearing gloves. And this one is too small for Chris. Nicole is wearing way too many massive rings, and the gloves wouldn't fit her as well. So it seems like Cassian took the money. A criminal escaped from prison, and the local police were looking for him. They checked his house, his parents' house, and other places, but there was no trace of him. Then they came to an old lake house the criminal's family used to spend summers in. Now it was abandoned. When they came in, the detective knew immediately that someone was living there. How did he know? The house is all dusty, but some surfaces like this part of the floor and that side of the table aren't dirty like everything else. That's because someone has been using them. Tessa called the police because she had found her friend Evie unconscious. Right by her side, there was a glass with poison, which she had most likely drank, but it was still up for investigation. We are roommates. I walked into her room to get $20 from her and saw her like this. I didn't touch anything and called you immediately. The police officers asked Tessa to leave, examined Evie, and called the ambulance. When they moved the girl, they saw Evie's phone and a $20 bill in the phone case. The officers left the phone where they found it, walked out of the room, and told Tessa, "We called the ambulance. It'll be here soon. Your $20 is in your friend's phone case. You can take it now." Tessa walked into the room and returned with the money immediately. The police arrested her. Why? If Tessa didn't touch anything, how did she find Evie's phone so fast? She knew where it was.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.